Hello and welcome to The Insider, a show designed to clue you into the biggest news, announcements and events inside the video games industry, discussing with you some things you may know, some things you may not, and the glue that holds it all together is a little bit of my own opinion. My name is Paul James, thank you very much for watching, let's kick off another episode. So in this week's episode, I'm here to talk about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, the first game in the franchise not to star Nathan Drake, the head of the franchise up to this point. Media across the world have had opportunities over the course of the last fortnight to actually go out and play the game, and with a gameplay demo that's now available publicly, here's some impressions based on what I've seen in that footage.
Last but not least, the axe store. And another old fortress, tucked into the mountainside. I'll just mark that on the map with an axe.
The first point for today is all about professional courtesy. Now, we know in previous Uncharted games there's been this fun, friendly dynamic that's occurred between Nate and Sully and Elena and Chloe and anyone else who's involved. Well, in the case of A Lost Legacy, things are a little bit different. Chloe is hiring Nadine to help her out in the pursuit for the Tusk of Ganesh. Now, in that pursuit, given the particular dynamic that they've got here, Chloe is hiring Nadine. There's that professional relationship in play here, and that changed the dynamic completely, because if the two are butting heads over the way in which a mission should be approached, that causes a lot of conflict there. It's going to be a really interesting one to check out and take a look at this clip to see exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for a soft. Perfect. Not that I'm too worried about him, though.
You should be. We won't have the advantage of surprise again. Don't think he was expecting much from you.
Wait, was that a compliment? That sounded like a compliment.
His guys are idiots, but Asolvers. We just need to stay the hell away from him.
Point number 2 for today, what's old is new again. Now, what we've seen in this recent gameplay demo here is some footage of the Western Ghats region of India. And the first thing that struck me was the fact that it looks very similar to what we saw of Madagascar in Uncharted 4. Now, this game is built on the same engine. There are some assets that have been used again. There's a range of similarities, but it was striking as to how familiar this environment felt straight away. There's also a range of other features that have come across from the game, and that includes the winching of the cars, the rope swing, and a range of other little pickups that along the way that make this game feel familiar despite some differences that I'll talk about soon. Number 3, lockpicked. Now, one of those new features that I was just talking about is the ability to pick locks. Now, we've seen this in a range of different stealth games and whatnot in the past, RPGs, it's everywhere. But it's the first time we're seeing a feature like this implemented in the Uncharted franchise. And basically, look, it's not a massive feature, but what it does allow you to do in the middle of combat, you might see a storage crate that's full of potential ammo and weapons and whatnot. Well, that's your chance to wander over there as Chloe, sneak up, you might have to take out a few guys on the way, pick the lock, gives you a special weapon or some extra ammo that'll allow you to then pick off the enemies a little bit easier. It's payoff for risk-reward balance. Point number 4, and an all-important one in an Uncharted game, is the prize. Now, we've seen Nate go pursuing some incredible worlds and myths in previous games, and it's not any different here for Chloe in this particular game. She's pursuing the Tusk of Ganesh. Now, like I said, she's recruited Nadine for this, but she's also got an antagonist that's following along with her, a guy called Asav. Asav is also pursuing the Tusk of Ganesh and apparently has some sort of connection to Nadine. We don't know much about Nadine despite her presence in the entirety of Uncharted 4 Thief's End, but it's going to be a really interesting dynamic that's created between these two characters.
The Eye of Shiva. That's impressive. My man worked for a week and turned up nothing.
Point number 5, a whole hog. Now, this is not just a simple DLC spin-off to an Uncharted game. It was born of that, but The Lost Legacy is not like Left Behind for The Last of Us. This is a full 8 to 10 hour experience that, despite not having Nate in it, has a full cast, it has a full proper story, it includes all the combat that we've come to know and love about Uncharted game, and as I've just highlighted, adds a few more new features that make things really, really interesting and different. This could be what kicks off a whole new sub-series, or just a range of different spin-offs that are set in the Uncharted universe. It's one that's not worth sleeping on. Please make sure to take some time, check out the footage, and if it's something you're into, maybe pick up the game when it comes out in a month from now.
Worth it?
Impressive.
So those are my 5 points that I've identified, born of the recent Uncharted The Lost Legacy footage that's just been released. Like I said, do yourself a favour, check it out, decide whether the game's for you or not. It's this core Uncharted game that we've come to know and love in the past. Maybe it's worthwhile picking up. If you've got any other thoughts and opinions about the upcoming game, let me know down in the comments below. Tell me what you think of some of the points I've made. Tell me some of the other things that maybe stuck out at you. I'm really keen to see what you've got to say.
Those who would not fight had to be used to inspire those who would.
So that concludes another episode of The Insider for another week. It's not the only show you can catch at player2.net.au though. Please like, share and subscribe where you can catch up with weekly episodes of The Insider, as well as episodes of Patched, the Video Games Club, weekly Player 2 Plays entries, as well as game trailers and a whole bunch of other features that you can only find at player2.net.au. Make sure to visit the website www.player2.net.au, where you can catch up with a whole host of awesome written content, including the current feature that we've got going on the site at the moment, a month-long feature of JRPG July content, which is wrapping up this week. So there's a bunch that's already out there that you can check out and enjoy. For more regular updates though, please make sure to like us at Facebook. Please make sure to hit us up at Player2AU on Twitter. Myself, you can catch me at PaulJamesP2 on Twitter. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.